out at your party. I'm with the gang, and it's gonna be a robbery. What's up, guys? It's none other than your boy JGiddins, the father. Who that is? Love my ambition. What's up, love my ambition? Like I said, it's your boy JGiddins, the father, as usual. Remember to be positive, optimistic, keep positive people in circle, y'all. Reason I wanted to come to y'all tonight is just to sort of say goodnight to everybody and sort of summarize all my thoughts for the day, things that I um, was thinking about, experience today, and whatnot. I'm gonna try to make this more of a normal thing. Let me check something real quick, guys. I'm sorry. I need to confirm that this is live. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. My YouTube. I'm streaming on YouTube, man. Don't wave at me, rebel. But look, guys. Like I said, remember to be positive, optimistic, keep positive people in your circle. One of the things that I went through today, that I'll share. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like everybody can benefit from the experiences that I have. I just want to give people sort of my feedback as it relates to, and I don't talk about this often. I normally talk about fatherhood and really fatherhood and in the black community, things that could help. What's up, Fathers Lives Matters, baby? What's up, baby? I need to get with you too, man. We need to work. Um, but again, I wanted to talk for a second for anybody who's watching this and just speak about relationships. That's something that I don't tend to talk about often because everybody has their own personal opinion about relationships, how to handle them. But I think that maybe somebody can take something from what they hear from me. I had an argument today. You know what I mean? Me and my girlfriend don't argue much, but we had an argument today, and I don't like to share my personal relationship with my girlfriend too much on here. I'm an open book because I'm a public figure and I'm completely fine with anybody knowing anything about me. There's no question you can't ask. However, when it comes to specifics between myself and my girlfriend, I tend to leave that in the back, right? But the argument that we had today kind of like made me think about how other people might handle these things in their relationships. All right, I'm gonna check that, bro. All right, as soon as I'm done. Um, but it made me think about how other people handle their relationships and whether or not you understand what your relationship could or may be doing to the rest of your life and other parts of your life. Obviously, due to me being a father and Jay Giddins the father, I want to focus on how that affects parenting or how it can adversely affect that part of your life. But also, in addition, just give some advice to people in relationships. Number one, remember that communication is key, right? That's always like the biggest thing in a relationship, whether it's a sexual relationship or whatever kind of relationship that it is with a person. It could be a good friend, it could be a family member, whoever it is. But communication and making sure. What's up, Gary? Making sure that the person that you're in communication with understands how you feel will take you a long way. Gary, just so that you know if you in and you listening, I just wanted to talk real quick about relationships. And I went through an argument with my girlfriend today, and there was some gems I wanted to drop, or at least some things I wanted to speak on. And I just want to try to encourage people to communicate with each other. You know what I mean? Understand that just because your significant other might feel something that you don't agree with or that you think is wrong, understand that if they love you, and they you have to be real with yourself too, because some people lie to themselves. Some people know that their significant other doesn't want them and doesn't really care for the relationship. They're just using them for things, but it's too painful to come to that realization, so they pretend like the relationship's real. If you're that person, just don't listen to me and exit, because I have no advice for you. But if you're a person in a real relationship with somebody who cares and loves for you, and you're not lying to yourself and others about how they feel about you, and you guys really are in a relationship, you have to understand that if that person really loves you and cares for you, and has your best interest at heart, you know, just try to understand where they're coming from and understand their perspective. Because one of the things that I realize is that before you talk to a person and really understand their mindset and where they're coming from, you can develop your own thoughts and perspectives about what they thinking that might not even be the case. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might be running around in your head thinking they want to do this, they want to do that, and the whole time it's not the case. You know what I mean? So I just want to, anybody who hears this and you may be in a relationship, you may have questions, concerns about things that you always wanted to ask, or you go to Google and search and all that kind of stuff, go to YouTube. I just want to say to y'all, communication is key. Communication is literally what can save your relationship. There's nothing that, if you communicate well, you can't fix. And even if the fix or the resolution is breaking up, which is sometimes the case, but you come to that conclusion through dialogue and through having that conversation with the person. And that's just, again, what I want to right, bro. Jumping to conclusions never works. Bro, since you in here, I want to let you know real quick. I got caught on July 22nd, right? I filed for full custody last year after my daughter's mom started this whole crap, or took it to a violent place. So I actually go to court on July 22nd. Me and my lawyer are petitioning, obviously, for full custody, and that is the goal. So stay, keep a heads up for that, okay? I'm gonna check your DM, and I'm assuming it probably has something to do with us starting some dialogue, or having a conversation about that. So just so that you know, that's a thing. Right? So that's one of the reasons that I'm really trying to make my presence a little bit more active here. When I get my daughters, and I say when because it's probably going to happen, when I get my daughters, I want to make sure that we are very involved, and that we can use our camaraderie as father and daughter, to show people. I will, boss. I will. I'll keep you in the loop. To show people how to properly interact with your child. I make videos. For those who may not know, go to YouTube and type in just go to my page. You can see I made a video talking about how to manufacture happiness, or manufacture a bond with your child. And those are the kind of things I want to sort of push toward. By the way, the thing that I talk to you guys about relationships, that can extend also to your children, right? So make sure that you have that same communication with your children. Make sure that you explain to them what you feel, take into consideration what they feel. And one of the things I want to bring up real quick, this conversation is probably going to go everywhere because I'm just debunking my brain at the end of the day. One of the things I want to bring up is the fact that you got to make sure that your child give me a second. You got to make sure that your child feels valued, right? One of the things that I noticed when talking to a lot of people about either raising their children or their own childhood is the fact that feeling valued as feeling valued. What's up with me on that? Feeling valued as a person helps them as they grow. One of the things I always say is that adults are just children who got older, right? So if you're a 25-year-old, you're just an 8-year-old, like 17 years later. You know what I mean? So all of the things that you holding on to, the anger, the things your mom did to you, the things your dad did to you, or if you have one, the things that your cousins did to you, the houses that your mom or whoever your guardian is may have left you at and didn't come back and check on you, so things happen to you. We've all had, unfortunately, not all because I don't know everybody, but a lot of us have had things happen to us in our lifetimes in terms of abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse. Women have gone through sexual abuse much more than we know, like in terms of molestation, in terms of being raped, in terms of being touched, and all of these things. And like these things happen because of the lack of communication and dialogue between a father, a mother, and a child. Because a lot of parents, and I hear and I see it all the time, I don't want nobody to get mad at me if you hear this and this is something that you do, don't take offense to it, okay? But what I'm saying is a lot of parents are not properly parenting their children in terms of leaving them here and there. Think about this. And me personally, this is why people should not be having children. You know what I mean? Unless you're really ready. Because me personally, I'm one of those people that is 100% against daycare, right? And that's probably gonna sound crazy to you. Like, what you mean you're against daycare? Like, my girl is a stay-at-home mom, right? And I work 2 jobs, over 100 hours every 2 weeks to make sure that she can be that, right? If you are not in a position to do that, I really don't think you have any business having a child. Because here's the thing, you're gonna create a scenario where you have to leave your child with people who you don't know if you can trust. So here's one thing that I'm concerned about. Why is that okay? You know what I'm saying? Like when we think about that, and I just want to open this conversation and open a dialogue, and hopefully people can just openly talk about it and give their expressions. If you're listening to this, if you watch this, I'm gonna post it to my IG live afterwards. So if you see this, comment or hit me up somehow and let me know what your perspective is on this. I really disagree with daycare, and I really disagree with leaving your child with a stranger. That's essentially what you're doing. I mean, you do the same thing in school too, but that is sort of mandatory to a degree unless you can homeschool, which I really think everybody should be doing because your children need you, not some stranger teaching them. But at the end of the day, if you have to do daycare, it's scary. I would never leave my child at a daycare. Like, I'm sorry, that's not happening. When my two daughters, Journey and Justice, who I'm fighting for full custody for on July 22nd, you're right. What you agree, right? When when they were growing up and I was raising them, I let them go to daycare, but that was because their mother's stepmother owned a daycare, and she facilitated the daycare, and she was in there, and I knew her personally. So it was okay to leave my child there. I would leave my child at her personal house. You know what I mean? So it didn't bother me too much. But these people who just go and drop their kids off at, such and such daycare that they just found and Googled here, you don't know who these people are. Like, how are you comfortable with leaving your child with these people? Like, I just don't understand, especially when you see videos where they're beating kids, they dragging them down steps. You know what I mean? None of my kids been right. And honestly, let me say that I'm happy for you that you're able to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it breaks my heart to know that there are women who have babies and then they gotta leave the baby and go to work. Like, that's silly. That's silly. Like, and that's why, like, women, women that are single mothers, I love you guys. You're strong. I don't know if you're a single mother with me or not. You know what I'm saying? But let me know if you are. But if you are a single mother, I just want to say, like, honestly, it is part of the argument that I got into earlier today was involving Love and Hip Hop, right? Because I can't stand Love and Hip Hop because, in my opinion, Love and Hip Hop destroys the Black community. All of those kind of shows, I feel like, contribute to destroying the Black community. They create a precedent for us to follow. You feel me? And I feel like we really just have to understand that. And it's not necessarily that nigga rel this. Oh, this rel. What rel? But no, like, look, like, that threw me off, G, when you said this rel. But no, like, I really just feel like the daycare thing, I'm gonna let it go. But whole point was, I was saying, I just not comfortable with leaving my child with anybody. You gotta be careful with that. Make sure that even when it comes to family members, like, you can't leave your child. Most people that have been touched by other people growing up and stuff as children, it's primarily family members that do it. I mean, you can look up statistics and numbers that can show you that you're more likely to be raped or molested or touched by a family member or a close friend than a stranger. I mean, and it makes sense. I mean, we know practically growing up that there was situations, you know what I'm saying, where we was with, Rel. Look, before you said Black Side, I just remember, Rel, what's good. But look, there's situations where all of us can remember where we've been at somebody's house and some shit happened and we didn't say anything about it. We didn't know how to, I can attest to myself. I don't know that my mother knows. I've never had the conversation with her, and I'm not sure that I would, you know what I mean? But I have been abused growing up, you know what I mean? In multiple ways, which I won't go into detail about. And I'm not sure that my mom knows about those. I don't think she does. But like I said, that makes me a stronger parent. And that's why I want to reciprocate this stuff to people, or make it reciprocal for other people, because at the end of the day, we have to talk about these things. Like, if nobody talks about them, these kids are just screwed. You know what I mean? When I think back to, there's a good friend of mine named Rel, right? Coincidentally, this is another Rel, but Rebel Rel, you know what I mean? That we talk about a lot of things because we close and we talk about personal things. And just speaking about hold on, y'all, give me 2 seconds. Something just popped up on my phone. I want to see what the hell is it. Something about Obama, something, I don't know. But we talk often about, like, just the effects of your childhood, the way it affects you when you grow up, and the relationship that you have with the people while growing up and how that impacts you. You know what I mean? And I just think it's really important that we start a dialogue and talk about the things that people don't want to talk about. You know what I mean? Amongst the black community, there's so many things that we know. You know what I mean? We know, but nobody really want to talk about it. Nobody really wants to see it. It's really because of a whole like, we don't want to. It's tough to approach. You know what I mean? And fatherhood, I feel like police brutality and fatherhood or lack thereof are single-handedly the two things really that are most devastating to the black community, right? The reason I say lack of fathers, I think it's arguable which one is more important, lack of fathers or police brutality, because in a lot of the cases where people are being brutalized by police, they're put in those situations because of decision making that's done because of a lack of a father, or frustration and anger that's pent up to cause them to do something because of a lack of a father. There's a lack of an explanation or something to relate these deaths and these killings of black people to their lack of a father. It's hard to do. You know what I mean? If somebody grew up without a father, and they were angry and hated the fact that they never knew their father, and then they turned 25, they were at a club or something, somebody said something about their dad, and they just flipped out and beat the person, and the cops came and then killed them because they got so angry they tried to fight the cop. My point is, that's an example of how not having a father leads to a black man being killed or brutalized or put in that situation. But there's no research, like there's nobody who's going to research a black man killed by a police officer to his childhood and follow every decision he's, you know what I mean? It's literally impossible. So it's one of those things we kind of have to talk about and know amongst each other so that it's not the boogeyman, you know what I mean? So that it's not the person hiding in the closet that nobody knows is there. We have to admit that it's real. Nobody can fix your house but you. You know what I mean? And a lot of times white people, they want to help, and I appreciate the white people. They want to help, they want to support, but white people can't fix our situations. We got to fix our situations. And that's where NFAC comes in, right? The Not Fucking Around or Not Effing Around coalition. And, things like Sleepers for the Rich, gun club. These guys are trying to police black communities on their own. Like, and these are the systemic things that keep us where we are as a race, as a black people as a whole. Our failure to provide for ourselves and separate ourselves from, our oppressors. You know what I mean? Somebody can't oppress you if you don't need them. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to oppress somebody who doesn't need you. Like, for instance, that's why they have such trouble with oppressing Jews, right? Jewish folk have their own communities, they have their own markets, they have their own everything. They invest in themselves, in their own race. Black people really are the only race that doesn't like literally like have their own established foundation in the country. You know what I mean? In terms of policing themselves, not that Jews have Jewish police or anything, but what I mean is they have other ideals that they can use to police. They don't have remnants of oppression and segregation and all the things that led to us being fucked up in the head. Them putting drugs and crack in our communities, and that leading to people doing all kind of crazy stuff and growing up in situations which lead to them doing these things. Other races don't have that. That's what's sort of different and special about about the black. That's why Black Lives Matter. Damn, that's deep. That's why Black Lives Matter, because Black lives are the only ones that specifically have a disadvantage that was put on them. And I'm saying them like I ain't sitting here, dog as hell, right? But no, like my thing is, look, like we in a situation where we've been coerced into being this way, right? It's to a point where now I'm starting to wake up, right? I'm starting to wake up. I think I said on a live, I think a day or two ago, which somehow IG deleted, and YouTube I didn't record it on. So now I do all my lives on YouTube and Instagram, because Instagram took my video down. But what I was explaining was just the whole ideology behind like I forgot how I wanted to say it, y'all, honestly, to keep it a stack with you. I forgot what I was going to say completely. But listen, oh no, I kind of remember now. I basically just want to say, what's up, Tiff? I basically just want to say, like, the word activated, right? That's one of the things my man Rebel Rel, which some of you may know, says to me, activating people. People have to become activated. What the Black Lives Matter movement is doing is activating people. You know what I mean? It's causing people to become interested in something that they didn't know previously impacted their life, right? And being that I'm activated, now I can't look at certain things the same, right? I was having this conversation earlier, but I want to have it on live so you guys can see what I mean, right? And what I mean is, I used to be a big fan of battle rap. I used to be a big fan of battle rap. You know what I mean? Like I used to watch battle rap almost every day. I knew all of the battlers from, you know what I mean, Sue Surf to what's the fat dude? Look, listen, I knew all of them and I watched all of the battles, right? But in these battles, if you've ever seen a battle, a rap battle, it's like a wet dream for a KKK member, right? Like a black rap battle is like heaven for, you know what I'm saying, a racist, because what you got is you got a black person here and a black person here, and you got them screaming at each other about how they gonna kill each other, and you got them talking about what they do to each other, and then you have a huge audience of other folks who are supporting it and big upping it. Now, it's not necessarily to say they're literally supporting him killing them, right? They're not literally saying, yo, Sue Surf, kill him after this battle. But what I'm saying is there are other ears listening, and there are other eyes watching, millions of them. And what this is doing is making a statement. I don't think that battle rap is bad and it should go away, but now's not the time. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially what I'm saying. Even down to when I hear certain songs now, because my brain is activated and thinking about how much it hurts us to hurt each other. You know what I mean? And thinking about the fact that we were enslaved mentally and taught to feel this way about each other. You know what I mean? I can't remember who I was watching. It may have been Grandmaster Jay from the NFAC, the leader, but I was watching somebody and they was talking about the fact that, like, we pretty much like painted ourselves as targets. You know what I mean? Like the same way racists look at us, we see young black male, we think violent, I gotta take him out, right? White people have managed to put us in that mindset. You know what I'm saying? Where the average dude is like looking young black male, I gotta fuck him up. That's where we are right now with these young boys. It's not everybody, obviously. It's not everybody, okay? So please, guys, know that it's not everybody. But we are in a predicament or a position where now black people, many of them, it's not now, it's been happening for a long time, but black people who are activated are understanding that we're killing each other. And you know what? I did a video titled Remnants of Oppression, where I talked about what things are left over, the remnants of oppression, what things are left over from oppression, slavery, segregation, the things that have had everlasting effects on our race. And one of the biggest things that I brought up was music, right? The reason I say music is because music programs you. Music is a powerful force that programs you. And those who seek to program understand this, right? So when you take music and you take an entire group of people, a mass of people, sort of like religion, you know what I mean? Religion can be used to control people. Music can be used to control. Be quiet, Sam. Music can be used to control people. So I feel like, to a degree, every time that we see, or we hear a song, and we hear in that song that they're talking about shooting up the block or running down on this guy, or if I catch that nigga, I'm a whatever. I feel like we all have to come to a point as black people, as African Americans, we have to understand that we literally have music where we talk about killing each other. Like, it's so ironic that at Black Lives Matter protests, they were playing music that was talking about killing niggas. Bruh, like it's like we gotta wake up, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why that's part of the reason that it's hard for us to be taken seriously. It's starting to happen. So don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take credit away from what this movement is doing worldwide, but we really have to understand. All right, man. Love you too, man. Thank you. I appreciate it. We really have to understand that until we love each other and until we stop killing each other, we can't expect other people to gravitate to that ideology. You know, I'm not going to say that it's impossible for people to help us if we keep killing each other, but I'm just going to say it makes it less attractive. It makes it less understanding why a person would want to understand us and want to know what we're going through. Like, why would you want to know that when they kill each other? And I hear them say it a lot. Trump supporters say it when they're out there at the protests fighting against the protesters. You know, the protesters are yelling Black Lives Matter, and they're yelling, no, they don't. Ask them. They don't think it matters. They kill each other. You know what I mean? And like, you know, it's messed up because it's partly true. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm hopeful, and I feel like the NFAC and other Black militia gun groups that are coming together in solidarity and bringing a force to our race, which creates value. Unlike other things, you know what I mean? We don't have many things in this country that creates value for Black people. In fact, majority of things decreases the value of Black people, primarily music. Music completely decreases the value of Black people. Like when you talk to certain Trump supporters and stuff, they'll actually use that as a defense. When you say, you know, when you're talking about that, they use the fact that, oh, it was one lady, I was hearing her say nigga. She was at I think it was at the NASCAR at the NASCAR event. She was outside talking to some of the reporters, and she was saying nigga, 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 and they were like, man, why are you saying that? You can't say that. And she was like, why? They say it in their songs. Now listen, I don't agree with just saying, oh, you know, you can't say nigga, like, at the end of the day, because I actually use it myself, obviously. But to try to use it in our music in the way that we do publicly and in the derogatory manner that is used, you know what I mean? It kind of creates sort of an excuse. I don't want to say excuse, but reasoning for them to do it. You know what I mean? And they listen to the songs. Like, there's a lot of white, like younger white chicks and stuff that got videos on TikTok and stuff where they're playing rap music that got the word nigga in there and saying it. You know what I mean? And it's not nigga like, hi, I say good morning to my nigga. You know what I mean? It's nigga like in a derogatory manner, obviously in a negative way. So I just think that more love needs to be brought into our race and our species in general in terms of Black people. And a huge part of that is our confidence in ourselves and our value in this country. You know what I mean? And that's, like I said, what brings me back to us forming our own foundations here that, because like every majority of other races have, or other foreigners of other nationalities, they have their own foundation here. Like I said before, Jews have their own communities. Chinese people have their own. They don't necessarily always have their own communities. They may have a Chinatown here and there, but they normally have their own financial plan and setup. You know what I mean? They own the Chinese store. They know all their kids are going to benefit from that. They send them to specific schools. They have a specific plan for them. You know what I mean? Here, Black people are the only people who were brought here against their will and made to stay here and molded the entire way. You know what I mean? So we really have to understand and think about those things and use that knowledge to come up with a resolution for how we're going to fix this whole thing. All right. That's about all I got for you guys. Before I get out of here real quick, I just want to remind everybody I got court a trial on July 22nd, which is Sam, if you're still in here, I think you still in the live, or somebody in here. If that's you, be aware, yo, that my trial date is July 22nd for the full custody petition that me and my lawyer is filing. And I'll update you guys after that. Obviously, that's gonna be a big thing for me, a big milestone, and I look forward to addressing y'all afterwards. All right. Remember to be positive, of course. Keep positive people in your circle and all that good stuff. Until later, it's your boy JGiddins out. Holla.
Who's that?